Hello and welcome to Speedcubing 101 for parents of new cubers. Thank you for joining me today. This is my introduction episode, which is more to get to know me and why I'm making this podcast. Starting with episode 2, it will be more practical, but this is definitely the right place if you've got a new cuber in your home and the extent of your own experiences having a Rubik's Cube when you were young, scrambling it and then not being able to solve it, so you tried taking off the stickers, peeling them off, and probably just like me, the stickers were really sticky. They couldn't come off that easily. I've discovered from my experience that speedcubing, there's a learning curve to it, especially if your child wants to compete. I am still on that learning curve, but from conversations with other parents and just questions people ask me when they find out my son's been cubing, I thought I'd just bring it together in a podcast so that any parent could listen and get up to speed with what's involved with being a parent of a new speedcuber. I also have no interest in becoming famous, so I'm just going to call myself Cube Mom for this podcast. This journey all started when my son was 4, and we were at one of those party stores, where you can get those balloons and themed party kits. Well, my son was into Mario and found a small 3x3 cube that each side had a scene of Mario. It was like $1 or something. I did get it for him. You probably know where this is going. He's 4. He's at home playing with it and trying to put the pictures back together on each side. Cannot do it. Starts crying, throwing it, and at one point just decided to rip the whole thing apart. Well, fast forward a couple years later, he's in 1st grade and he sees another boy at school who's in 4th grade with a cube and solving it. So my son found all the pieces of that Mario cube, brought it to school, asked him to solve it, and mind blown. My son asked for a cube. I can't remember exactly. I think we might have got one from the dollar store. And he started messing with it, again, getting frustrated with it, at least this time, much less screaming and crying over it, because he knew he could bring it to school and his friend would solve it for him. Finally, that friend said, listen, you've got to learn how to solve this yourself. I can't do this for you all the time. And that's when the friend also recommended J Perm's YouTube channel. At this point, our friend at school had just competed in his first competition. So we were learning from him and his mom what competitions were, and they suggested we check one out. So about a year ago, we didn't register. We just went to observe and to cheer him on. I just looked up that competition to check when it was, and it was June 11th, 2023. Funny enough, I'm recording this episode June 11th, 2024. And if you're checking the published date of this episode, it's not anywhere near it because I want to batch record a bunch of episodes and schedule them out. Plus, a friend of mine is making the podcast artwork, and I need to give him time to work on that. But yes, we went to our first competition. Again, not competing, just watching. A year ago, as luck would have it, we live in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and the 2023 Canadian Cubing Championships were right in our area a month later. I do remember we had a few things going on that weekend, but I made sure we made the effort where we could to go and watch because I had heard national championships are only every 2 years. And of course I knew, well, it's not going to be in our area again in 2 years. We had a blast, and I'll have more to share about our time at the Canadian National Championships in future episodes. So at this point, my son has learned how to solve the cube. He's visited 2 competitions. He has just turned 7, and we ended up visiting another 3 more competitions. So his first competition where he was a competitor, not an observer, was actually in March, 3 months ago. And I'll own this. Part of the reason why I wasn't ready to register him for a competition was because I was aware of the role of judging and that he would have to be a part of it too. And his 9s looked a lot like 4s. So I printed off worksheets on the number 9, tracing it, practicing it. I mean, yes, I wanted him to be ready and for sure wanting to compete, but it was also my hesitancy. And that was not knowing that, at least where we are, if you are a newcomer, you actually don't have to judge or be a runner for your first competition. And so since our first competition in March, He's competed in 3 more, including one where we drove across the border to America to compete. So that's where we're at. Episode 2 may or may not be relevant depending on where your cuber is at, but I'm going to share the resources we have used to learn how to solve a cube. I know everyone has different budgets when it comes to, well, everything with kids, but cubing as well. So in all my episodes where I suggest resources, I want to give free, budget, and go nuts options, not just because of where everyone's budget is, but it's also going to change as you gauge how committed your cuber is. I think I knew mine was committed when I started noticing in the morning he was late to eat his breakfast, late to get changed, brush his teeth, all those things, because he was cubing. If you know what I mean, stay tuned for more episodes. And I know you could spend your time doing so many things, but you've made the time to listen today. I appreciate you. Speedcubing 101 is launching as an audio podcast, but it is on the roadmap to turn these into videos for YouTube as well. Maybe you've heard of the phrase, done is better than perfect. I guess here it's more like half done is better than not done. I really wanted to get this out and build some momentum. And here I want to definitely say, if you have any questions, suggestions, or corrections, I've set up an email. It's cubemomofficial@gmail.com. Please send in any questions, corrections, or suggestions. I don't know what you're thinking until you email it to me. So send it over at cubemomofficial@gmail.com. And stepping back from cubing for a bit, since we're in the era of AI just starting to really come on the scene in a bigger way, I don't know if I'll do this for every episode, but at least on this one, I'm going to now throw in an AI song about speed cubing. Here it is. Talk to you soon and happy cubing.
Kids with their cubes in hand, solving puzzles across the land. Colors twist right before your eyes. They can do it, are you surprised? Parents of new cubers, come and listen. Speedcubing 101 will lessen all the confusion and disorientation. Let's get your cuber into cubing nation. Parents of new cubers, come and listen. Speedcubing 101 will lessen all the confusion and disorientation. Let's get your cuber into cubing nation. Listen to Speedcubing 101. It makes cubing life way more fun. Links and tips to save you time, so your cuber can cube and shine. Making friends and getting PRs, hoping to meet some of the stars. How far they will take this, we don't know. One-handed, mega minx, blindfolded, wow! Practicing algorithms and buying better cubes. There's so much more for cubers and parents to do. It's all making memories together and maybe becoming a world record holder. Parents of new cubers, come and listen. Speedcubing 101 will lessen all the confusion and disorientation. Let's get your cuber into cubing nation. Listen to Speedcubing 101. It makes cubing life way more fun. Links and tips to save you time, so your cuber can cube and shine. Practicing algorithms and buying better cubes. There's so much more for cubers and parents to do. It's all making memories together and maybe becoming a world record holder. Parents of new cubers, come and listen. Speedcubing 101 will lessen all the confusion and disorientation. Let's get your cuber into cubing nation. Parents of tips to save you time, so your cuber can cube and shine.